Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Arnold Nerenberg. It's my pleasure, my privilege to be in your company. I'm happy to be here with you and share with you insights and inspirations of a lifetime. I've been licensed as a clinical psychologist to practice in the state of California since 1974. And I like to say I've been licensed to walk upon this earth since 1941. So I bring a lot of experiences, things I've done right in my life, and a lot of errors I've made, all lead to a lot of insights that I'm able to share with you. I hope, my intention is to impact you and your loved ones for the rest of your life. Truly, that's my intention. The title of today's presentation is Family and World Development Part 2. Family and World Development Part 2, a powerful, non-political activism. So again, the subtitle is A Powerful Non-Political Activism. So we're going to be applying this to our lives, to improving our individual lives, the lives of our family, and add to the betterment of the world. We're going to be adding to the betterment of the world. And when we look at the world situation, what's really missing is honor. I mean, at this time in 2023, Russia is bombing Ukraine. You have around Tigray in Ethiopia, 500,000 people being killed through bombings and shootings. We have issues all over the world. We just had so much conflict at a international basis. Divorce rate is 60% or higher. The misunderstandings are severe. Mistrust is rampant. That's probably the biggest thing. Mistrust is rampant. Why has there been such a breakdown in trust? Because people feel betrayed. There's so much pain in the world, and there's a big lack of honor. And it's not like something new. There's never been that much honor in the world. Now, we did an interview. I'll repeat again that study on the streets. We interviewed 1,049 people. The average age was 39, 54% male, 40%, average age was 39, 46% female, 54% male. And even without defining the word honor, when asked if honor was important to them personally, said 93% said yes. So people really value honor. And when asked, do you think if the world had more honor, we'd have more peace? 84% said yes, that honor would bring more peace to the world, which is sorely needed. Sorely needed. And do you think if people had more honor, they'd be happy? And 79% said yes. So people value honor. It's obvious that we need more honor in the world. And I'm bringing to you the whole way of honor with the 4 commandments of honor, the bridge, the supremacy of honor code, and the honor teachings. We have honormovement.org, where it's a free public service website. Then we have a paid website, honortherapy.com, which is much more extensive. And on there, we also have my books, including the teachings of honor. So what we're using for these seminars, the teachings of honor. So what I'm doing today is really a prototype for growing the honor movement. So many of the people who are watching today will become facilitators, having their own groups. Bernice is going to do it once a month. Tracy, who's the first sustainer in the honor movement, she's going to do it on a weekly basis when she gets her internet up. Jonathan's going to be doing it. Bertrand's going to be doing it once a month. So we're going to be having people, this is the format. The format is people, we read something from the textbook, and then we say, what does this mean to you? How can you improve your life, your family life, the life of society? Those are the questions. The one about what does it mean to you is optional, but how are you going to use it to improve your life? How are you going to use it to help your family? How are you going to use it to improve the world? And you won't always see it. Sometimes you're going to see things you can use personally, but you're not sure how to do it in the world. Well, a lot of times it's obvious. Last week we did it, and we took care of some things right then. I did it right then and there. Went on Facebook, went on text, and started sending it right out, right in front of you. So when you're running these groups, when you're being a facilitator, you're going to firstly disclose yourself how you're going to use it, setting an example for the others, and then let the others participate and say, this is how they're going to improve themselves, their families, in the world. So last time we went over with defining loyalty, honor as loyalty to your highest constructive values as enshrined in the 4 commandments of honor, while striving to cause no harm physically and emotionally. Now, the first one we went over last one was I wish you well. The second was I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality, my problems. Those are the 2 of the commandments of honor. So today we're going to start from there. The third being, I'm grateful for the power I gain from hardship. So now I'm grateful for the power I gain from hardship. About 16 years ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. The doctor said, you have prostate cancer. It's an intermediate amount. It's not a small amount. And it's somewhat aggressive. It's a Gleason of 7. Well, my face went numb. But within about 10, 15 seconds, I said, Doc, that's great. He looked at me like, couldn't even believe me. He said, what did you say? I said, Doc, that's great. He said, what do you mean? I said, this prostate cancer is going to make me stronger, spiritually, emotionally, and even physically. But I was already well versed in this. I used to call them power thoughts back then, but now it's one of the commandments of honor. I was well versed in that. So by repeating, the repetition is preparation for application. The repetition is preparation for application. So I would be repeating. So when you're in a situation, you're ready to go. It's just, you're ready. So I was ready, and that was my perception that was going to make me stronger. Now, I was saying when I was on my way over there, I didn't know it was going to be cancer, and I said, God, if you want me to pass on and take me now, I want to go. But if you want me to serve you here, well, I want to serve you here. And God, if you have no preference, I prefer to stay here and serve you on earth, live out my life here on the material plane. Well, I did get stronger. Immediately, I walked out the door later after we talked for a while. I saw the clouds and the birds and the trees like I'd never seen them before, ever. And the people, I felt so much love for the people. I had veil lifted, and I just felt everybody was like my family. They weren't strangers to me. The sense of otherness was gone. I knew they looked at me as a stranger. I knew they felt they didn't know me, but I didn't feel that towards them. So there was, because of the perception that I was already based to do that, I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship, the prostate cancer. Now, then during the time I had my cancer, I took the title strongest drug-free man in the world for my age and my weight. When I was 65 years old, I bench pressed 365 pounds with the cancer. Then I had the surgery. The cancer was removed. It hadn't spread. That was the good news. It didn't metastasize. In fact, 3 months later, I set another world record on the bench press at another federation in New Jersey. So that's my little story about it. And then I'm going to, and so then I'll show in a minute me being, in fact, my daughter, one of my daughters just lost her job. I'm going to send her a text. This is going to strengthen you. You probably even end up getting a better job with more pay, but one way or another, this is good for you. So I'm going to send her that text. I have my phone on me right now, but that's how I intend to implement it family-wise. How I'm bringing it to the world? Well, through getting these seminars going, these groups that many of you will be facilitators, and then amongst those groups, you'll choose a facilitator from your groups, and we'll spread it. So this is how I'm bringing all of this actually to the world, is through the groups that you'll be doing. And the intention is to go on for centuries, actually thousands of years. That's the intention of this. And I've created a structure for that to actually happen. Okay, now I'm going to turn to everybody else and say, Tracy, how would you, in terms of what's the meaning to you? How do you want to strengthen yourself and add to your life, to your family life, or possibly even the world, if there's a way for you to do that? You'll be one of the facilitators and training facilitators, so that'll be one of your ways. How's that for you, Tracy?
Are you asking what the meaning to me is of honor?
No, the meaning for you, I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship. Let's start with the meaning.
The meaning for me would be showing gratitude for my trials and tribulations, that whatever will come of it, things will always turn around. It
Exactly.
it could be better, but it can always be far, far, far worse.
Well, here's what remember, like, when you say it's going to pass, the misery, both misery and happiness, are fleeting, but honor is forever. Both misery and happiness are fleeting, but honor is forever. So the whole thing about this, you can look back in your lives and see, gee, I went through this, I went through that, it was terrible, but I'm a better person, I'm a stronger person. That's looking back. The key about this one is, when you're in the middle of a tribulation, you're going, oh, this feels awful, but I'm grateful for the power I'm going to gain from this hardship. It's going to strengthen me in ways I don't even know yet. That changes the quality of suffering. You're still suffering, but changes the quality of the suffering. Excellent. So how would you use this to strengthen yourself and improve yourself?
To strengthen myself and improve myself, I'm grateful from the power I get from hardship, would be to just keep going and strive to do better, and better will eventually come out of it.
So do you feel that you're at this point able to, while you're in the middle of a hardship, have that thought, or is it strictly hindsight? How well have you been able to achieve that in the middle of the hardship?
I can think of it in the middle of a hardship repeatedly. Just keep thinking it over and over, and it'll eventually get better.
Now, I want to ask you this question. So I showed in my situation with the prostate cancer that it totally affected the quality of the suffering. I mean, I didn't know if I was going to live or die, but I actually felt happy. So it can actually, if you do it when you're in the middle of it, it can actually transform how you perceive the hardship in the middle of it. That's one of the beauties of it. And then when you see this enough times, as you say, then you know it's going to get better. The whole idea is not to be like we used to be. No, the whole idea is to come back much stronger than ever. Much stronger than ever. So let me see how. Thank you a lot, Tracy, for that. Let's see. Okay, Kimberly, how would you use this to improve yourself or strengthen yourself?
I feel like, just learn from my mistakes. I guess that's like the biggest thing for things that I thought that I can handle or accomplish and I didn't. And like I said, I'm grateful from the power I get from hardships, all those hard times, and you just kind of learn from it, pick yourself back up, and it makes you stronger. It has made me stronger because I think about what I did wrong, what I could have done differently, and I just keep moving and don't stop. Try not to look back.
Well, without the suffering, you cannot achieve wisdom. Without suffering, you cannot achieve wisdom. So these hardships, when you have an orientation towards honor, these hardships will open up realms of wisdom for you. That's one of the gains. The power is that. One of the other powers you have is compassion. By your suffering and your hardships and your failures and your setbacks, you're able to have compassion for that of others. So two things I guarantee you're going to get from your hardships when you're committed to the way of honor. I mean, the hardships can destroy a person and make them bitter. But if they're committed to the way of honor, they get stronger and they'll achieve more wisdom and more compassion.
Yeah.
So those are two things. And like you said, you learn from it, you don't make those mistakes. Like my father said to me, son, I have a lot of good advice to give you, not because I've been so smart, just I've been so stupid. So I know my own stupidity has enabled me to help a lot of people. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, how would you use that to help your family?
How will I use this to help my family? I feel like just, I mean, if they're going through hardships, just kind of tell them to, to look forward and not just, just kind of learn from your mistakes. And I just what I said, I think I would just kind of like reiterate, like just make sure that they understand what it means to fail, and go through hardships.
Well, let me ask you this.
To pick themselves back up.
That's perfect. Now let me ask you this. This is activism. We're talking about a powerful, non-political activism. So I'm going to ask you this. Are you willing to commit to doing something when we end our session, or even right now, to impart that right now to somebody in your family, or to some family, or for a few people in your family, that idea of being grateful for the power I gain from hardship, because it's going to make us wiser, more compassionate, stronger in some sense. Is there anybody that you would want to tell that to? A niece, a nephew, whatever.
Yeah, my sisters.
Okay. When are you going to? Good. Now, when are you going to tell your sisters? You want to text them or call them, or when do you want to tell them?
Well, actually, probably when I get home. I live with them, so face to face. They're going through some stuff, and I'm like, hey, just don't dwell on the past. Don't beat yourself up. Just.
Well, they really want to be telling them you're going to get stronger from it, because and I'm glad you're saying that, because it allows me to help you. If I tell you, don't think of pink elephants right now, I'm going to ask you, Kimberly, what are you thinking about?
Pink elephants.
Yeah. So you tell them don't beat yourself up, probably not going to help them. But your intention's a good intention. So you want to stress how it's going to make you stronger. You can quote what happened with me. You could take instances from your life where you had some real hardship, and you strengthen you in some way through more compassion, more wisdom, or strengthen you some other way. So you want to talk about how it's going to make them stronger. So you're going to do that when you get home, and go ahead and text me how that went when you do it. So this is activism. Does everybody see what I'm talking about? Activism. So we're not just having a discussion group. We're saying, okay, we're bringing it to our lives, to our family, and whenever possible, to the world. Yeah, and then bringing it to the world. One way we're bringing it to the world, is people become facilitated in this group. That's one way of bringing it out and into the world more. But is there any way that you could bring that message to the world, on your Facebook or any other way?
Yes. On one of my stories, yes, I can probably put a quote out there, and of course not say, oh, pick yourself up or don't beat yourself up, because like you said, you are right. You tell somebody that, and that's what they think about. So just kind of like use words of encouragement, words of empowerment.
Grateful for the power I gain from hardship. The other one is, if I had my phone, I would send it right now on my Facebook. I left my phone, but it's tell yourself that you intend to come back much stronger than ever. Is another aspect of that. I intend to come back much. You can tell that to your sisters. You're down. Tell yourself you intend to come back much stronger than ever.
Yes.
Another thing you could tell them is, and I'll do all. The other thing you could do, is telling them, and I intend to do all I can do to help you come back much stronger than ever.
Yes, absolutely, and I have to tell myself that too. Definitely.
I use that all the time on myself, all the time. I've been doing these things 3 times a day, plus situations that come up. So you're going to tell them that hopefully they come back much stronger than ever. You can put something on your Facebook to reach out to the world.
Yes.
So if I had my phone on me, I would go, I'm grateful for the power I gain from hardship. When we suffer, the best resolution is to decide to come back much stronger than ever. And the other part that you could add to that, and I call these derivatives, is what's the best true story I can tell myself about this problem? So my best true story about my prostate cancer was a great blessing, I appreciated life so much more. I'll tell you a story about this guy who was a roughneck. Came in, he was all tatted up, big, strong guy, very intimidating looking, but I could see he wanted to cry. He said, "Doc, I've lost everything. I lost my wife. She left me for another man. I lost my job. I don't know where my kids are. I couldn't pay my bills because I was so stressed out. I lost my house." And I said, I feel so much compassion for you as a human being, as a man. I feel tremendous a tragedy. I said, what if I told you there's a thought you could have, something you could tell yourself that would add dignity, nobility, and honor to your life? He said, what is that, Doc, please? I said, it's this. I've lost everything, but I've gained myself. I've lost everything, but I've gained myself. So there you have it. He walked out. He was going, wow, yeah, I have lost everything. I've gained myself. Walked out floating, said to my secretary, I've lost everything, but I've gained myself. So I'm giving you some stories to add to this, when you bring it to the world, when you bring it to your sisters in your case. I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship. So when you're doing the groups yourselves, when many of you become facilitators, these are the kinds of things you want to share. You start sharing about yourself, and then you hear the other people's stories. So I'm going to ask you this, Kimberly. Is there a specific one you'd want to share with us where you went through a hardship and it made you stronger, or good came of it?
Yeah. My divorce.
What was the good that came? What was the hard? So that was that very tragic at the time?
Yes, it was.
It is for most people. And how did it make you stronger? And what's the good that came out of it?
Well, it made me see things differently. Unfortunately, I used to be a people pleaser and just like with my family, and now I just really do not care, and I feel like I'm happier than ever because I don't let them put me down or criticize me.
Because your ex did that to you?
My ex, no, he did not.
He didn't?
My family did.
Oh, your family.
Yes.
So your ex didn't. So how did that lead to you having more self-esteem about the divorce?
Well, I was drowning. I mean, he didn't say all those things to me, but he just took advantage. Never really, said it out loud, but just definitely wanted me to support him and do all this stuff. So yeah, it just kind of made me, kind of think of all the stuff that I could do differently now.
So it added to your wisdom. You're not going to be in a marriage or in a relationship where the man is taking advantage of you. You're more resolved not to be taken advantage of in that way. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. I have more what to look for, like red flags here and there, because the red flags were there. I didn't want to see them, but I knew they were there, and I felt like I made so much excuses.
Yes. Excellent. Okay. Who else? You're welcome. Well, thank you. Stacy, how do you see yourself applying this to your life and improving their family and improving the world? How was that for you, Stacy?
So I think just listening to everybody, I was trying to think about how I was going to answer this. One of the things that I could say for certain with the commandments, what they do for me is they really do offer a reframe when I am going through it, which I'm really, really struggling right now. And so especially the power I gain over hardship, like that. And sometimes I'm just reflecting on past hardships that although I have gained the power, I sometimes let it weaken me too. I can sometimes go to the extreme, as you probably know by now about me. I mean, it's just my character, but I definitely can, lose the power too. I can go into the self-pity portion of that statement anyway. So it does help me reframe my thoughts when
Now,
I am
that
lost.
self-pity thing is extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
Extremely. And so when you start up feeling sorry for yourself, you go, wait a minute, I'm going to get stronger from this. I'm grateful for the problem gained from the hardship. I intend to come back much stronger than ever. And I'm grateful. If you feel somebody did it to you, you're grateful they put you in that situation, because it's going to make you stronger.
And I don't even know if self-pity is the word. I think it's like a self-abuse. It's like a self-abuse. It's like if anybody beat me up real bad in my past, I am my worst abuser. That's what I realized the last 30 days. I know I'm going off here, guys, but I just have been kind of in it. Yeah. And I just realized, wow. So I can become powerless to my own self if I let myself go there. So these really do help me reframe my thinking.
Reframing. In fact, when I published professionally on this in the National Psychologist, it really was the Nerenberg model of reframing and decision making. But that was really a dimension of an intention of that publication. So how would you help somebody in your family with this?
So I think that it has already helped. I have 2 people in my family that I brought these commandments to, and I wrote them down, just like I have them written down, where I can see them every day. And I wrote them by, in their rooms where they sit most of their time. One of my family members, since he listened to you one time, he has literally changed his life. Talk about going to the gym from the next day, I'm not even, I go, wow. He surpassed me by, I'm telling you, it's a miracle. Seriously.
I believe you.
Yeah, I'm so grateful. One session of yours and his mindset changed. So that I'm really grateful for. And then I have another family member recently who I introduced these to, and for her too, it's like a mental reframe. And even today, I got a couple calls throughout the day, yesterday, the day before, oh, I did this instead of this, Stacy, I moved this over here, and it just psychologically has had a positive impact. So I like them because it puts me in the driver's seat and allows me to remain in control of my life. And also, as you've said, and as these say, that we co-create. I'm in the driver's seat. So good or bad.
No, these all put you in the driver's seat. That's totally correct. Let me ask you, what is your intention of something else you could do for your family with I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship, or any of the other commandments of honor? What's something you could do for your family? Something more.
Continuing to share. I have shared the link to the free website where they can go and listen if they want to further. I've written things, I've taken little nuggets that you said and then expanded on those for myself. And, yeah.
Well, these are things you've done, which are awesome, totally awesome. I have so much respect for you. So what's that activism means now? What kind of thing do you plan on doing now to help your family with this?
I think I can send a group text out maybe after this and craft something up, and I'm not sure which one I will focus on, but I will likely pick one of the commandments. And
a good format is when you do that, if you want to talk about how you apply it and help you reframe or whatever, that's just one possible format. A lot of times self-disclosure, illustrating it, is helpful for other people.
I like that. That's great. That's
or saying I saw this in somebody else and this is what it did for him. Here's what my doctor had with his prostate cancer. Here's this guy who was a roughneck in the oil fields, lost everything, his wife, his children, his house, his job, and he felt he gained himself. And so you can share anecdotes, but it's the most powerful way is when it's about yourself. But you have these other anecdotes to get the point across.
I like
Well,
that.
that's good. Now, so helping yourself, helping your family. So you made a decision of what to do. That's what I'm calling it, non-political activism. In fact, Hugh said to me, I'm interested to see how you're going to show activism without getting political. And after the end of the last lecture, I'll say it again today. See, I'm talking about activism and there's no politics. Mm-hmm. This is a psychological, spiritual activism. And not a religious one. This is not political. It's not religious. The honor movement is not a religious movement. It's not a political movement. It's simply an honor movement. And I call them commandments of honor because it's just your way of, you command the honor that's already within you, to arise in a consciousness in terms of thoughts, words, and actions. So how are you going to bring this to the world now, Stacy?
I can definitely post something as well. Craft something and post something.
Now you're going to be one of the ones doing the doing as once a month to start with. At some point, and not now, but at some point you'll be a facilitator. So my doing this, I'm going to say the same thing to Tracy. My doing this is a way of illustrating, at least the way I do it. Now, when anybody else is a facilitator, this is a format that I suggest. You're going to use the text, but I have one person, Bertrand, wants to start somewhere in the middle with a letter that I wrote to the police department to help race relations. He wants to start with that. So you have leeway for your own individuality. And Tracy's got some of her own ideas in doing this, and had my total blessings to go with that. Tracy worked out a great outline for this and be very helpful to everybody. But one way is, for my way I'm demonstrating, I'm going at the beginning, and this gives you an idea of how to be a facilitator. Simply you're sharing and you're asking other people how they intend to do for themselves, their families, and society.
I like that.
Well, wonderful to hear from you as always, Stacy.
Thank you, Doctor.
I'm looking forward to hearing what you actually do with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you know. I'll send you the text I sent out.
Darlene, is something that would you like to comment what this means to you, or you rather I skip you, but if you're able to speak to help everybody, that would be great.
In terms of how...
Well, the meaning for you, I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship.
So I went through a lot of trauma my whole life, and I always feel like there's never a moment that I can have peace in my life. And when I think about these hardships and how it's shaped me now and how it frames my attitude and how I approach new problems that come on, I'm thankful for those that I've already been through, because I know how to maneuver these new problems. I used to let these problems bring me down. I would be stuck. I'd lay in bed all day. I can't move. I can't move on with my life. And, since being in the honor movement now, I've shifted my attitude. I shifted how I see those problems and how it affects me. So I'm thankful for those now, because now I'm a completely different person. I don't let those problems, they hurt me a lot. I still cry sometimes, but I let that moment pass. Because, like you said, happiness or misery, it's temporary, it's fleeting, and they're going to come and go. And I'm thankful for those experiences, but now I'm going to be a better person and I'm going to be stronger.
Boy, an honor is forever. You could always be honorable. You're not going to always be happy. You're not going to be peaceful. You're not always going to be miserable. But you can always be honorable. It's really doable, and you're doing a great job on that. So I'm going to ask you now, in terms of your family, how would you bring this understanding to a family member or to your whole family? I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship. How would you improve the well-being of your family?
I'm not as close to my family at all. And, like my mom and my grandma, they've passed away. I don't really have a relationship with my siblings as much. So it's really hard for me to kind of answer how I would do that.
What about bringing it to your family or friends? Is that doable?
But yes, with friends, yeah, it's just talking to them and reminding them that we all go through things, but yeah, how our attitude towards those problems is what's going to make us stronger, because we can always fall into that depression, but making us stronger is making us strong in the mind, and that we can overcome these things. So I would say, yeah, talking to my friends about them.
Well, the whole thing is, everybody, if they're committed to the way of honor, your friends will all gain more wisdom and more compassion through going through their tribulations and hardships. They all will, as long as they're committed to the way of honor, and you can help them on that path. So what specifically are you going to do when this call is over to reach out to one friend, two friends, however many friends you want to reach out to? What specifically are you going to do?
I'm a really shy person, and I always feel like when I message somebody or I call them, I feel like I'm a burden to them. And that kind of prevents me from stepping out, from making that first step to contact anybody. And sometimes I wonder if it's, I don't know if they're going to feel like I'm annoying them or not. But
so I hear that these are the things that stop you. I totally understand that. And the question is there do you want to find a way to go past? I hear also when you're saying that you feel stopped out of consideration to not intrude, but I also hear that you do want to help them. You want to serve in some way that will help your friends. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I understand it. I understand the hesitance. You don't want to intrude. On the other hand, you have something that's helping you. One way of doing it is saying, hey, this is helping me. I've reframed some things this way, whatnot. And you don't have to, we're not being preachy about this. Hey, you should do this and that. Here's what's helping me. I just want to tell you about it. Maybe it'll be helpful to you. Now, is that something that would be okay to pass along on a text or a call or not?
I think it would be reasonable as a text, or if it's a phone call, sometimes you don't know what they're doing, and I think a text when they can read it at their time that's convenient for them would be great.
See, most people pretend everything's just great. Ha ha ha. Oh, I'm just wonderful. Everything's so great in my life. Of course, it's typically not. But sharing your own struggles, it's not shameful, and it's not a burden, as long as you say, but I'm grateful for this hardship. I intend to come back stronger than ever. I'm grateful for this hardship. It's making me stronger. As long as you end with that message, your suffering will not be a burden. If you just tell somebody, oh, I'm so depressed, I can't move, I can't get out of bed, I don't want to reach out to anybody, I don't want to get dressed. Oh, the person goes, oh, gee. Like that. And that would be the effect. But if you say, I get so depressed sometimes, I don't even want to get dressed, I don't even want to take a shower, I don't even get myself out to go shopping, I don't have any food in the pantry. But you know what? This hardship I'm going through is going to make me stronger, and I intend to come back stronger than ever. Now it's not a burden. So when you're sharing these things, anytime anybody's giving advice, you want to always add about your own struggles. I'm grateful for the power I gained from this hardship. I'm going to come back, I intend to come back much stronger than ever. Then it's not a burden. This is how to share your inner reality without burdening anybody. This is how to be real and get away from pretense without having to do that, and do it in a positive way. What are your thoughts about that, Darlene?
I think that those are really good ideas and steps that I could take to make a change in terms of reaching out to people that may need help, or just letting them know that I'm here for them to also give them advice on how they can use the honor movement to help improve their own lives and their own attitudes.
Well, so when do you intend to reach out to these friends? What is your specific plan?
I'm actually doing it like right now.
As we're talking, good going. Yes. That's the way I like to do it. I got my phone, but that I like that. That's the activism. Now, what can you do that'll help improve with taking this knowledge to help improve the world?
I was thinking about that, and we talked about how I've always felt lonely, and I've always felt by myself, and I wanted to do something similar to like group therapy, where maybe other people who feel the same that I do can meet up, and we can talk about how it affects us. And it could be kind of like a meet-up thing. And maybe for that moment, that hour or two, they don't have to feel lonely or by themselves or feel abandoned.
So for you, your loneliness is motivating you to want to help other people with their loneliness?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel very deep compassion for loneliness. That's feel a lot of compassion for that. If you want to ever do it on Zoom, and you ever want to be a facilitator, is that something you'd want to do, or you want to think about it, or would you like to do it sometime?
I'll think about it.
Okay, let me know. And text me also the effect of what happens with your friends that you reach out, and getting some kind of, this is one way of doing groups. It's not a group therapy. It's a way, though, of having this kind of dialogue with others. And this is the format that I'm doing now. Yeah. Yeah, excellent. Very good, darling. I'm glad you spoke up, and I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm here.
Very much so. Well, this is an example of being a facilitator for doing groups of family and world development. And it's been my pleasure and my privilege to be here with you and to share this and to see all the great insights and resolutions that you're making as activists for improving yourselves, for improving your family life, and for improving the world. You're an inspiration to me. Bye for now.
The sea of destiny is in your deepest struggle. God's will and mine be one, and I wish you well. You are co-creator, respectfully real. There's a way in the valley that turns weakness to steel. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow. I pledge my love all the days of my life. I pledge my soul to all that is good. I pledge my heart to my brothers and sisters who I join in the light, leave a legacy of honor. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow.